The applause still rang in my ears when my mother pressed the small envelope into my hand. The card inside was pale yellow, the handwriting elegant and controlled. Gratitude makes life richer. A $15 Panera gift card slid out, next to me. Sloan was surrounded by laughter. Dean Marshall had just announced her name, and Mom was already telling anyone within earshot that her daughter had been accepted into an exclusive 3-week art residency in Paris. Dad took pictures of her holding the acceptance letter, his voice booming with pride. Mom turned toward me, her tone softer, rehearsed. "You should take a picture too." "Mara, gratitude looks good on you." "I'm good," I said. Her smile stiffened. "Everyone else is celebrating. Don't make this awkward." Sloan slipped her arm through mine, the scent of her expensive perfume brushing my cheek. "Come on, Mara. It's a gift. You love Panera. It's not about the card," I said quietly. "Then what is it about?" she asked, too brightly, her eyes searching for approval from Mom. Mom answered for me. "Your sister has always been sensitive. Don't take it personally." "Darling." Dad adjusted his tie, eyes darting between us. "Let's not start a scene." "Okay, it's graduation day." The words pressed against my chest, a scene that was their biggest fear. Not honesty, not truth, just the risk of being seen as imperfect. "I'm fine," I said again, but the word felt smaller each time. Mom's voice dropped an octave, the tone she used when reminding waiters of forgotten reservations. "You could at least say thank you. We raised you better than this. You raised me to stay quiet," I said. The laughter around us dimmed, as if the air had been sliced. Sloane's grip tightened. "Mara, don't." I met her eyes. "You got Paris." "Sloan, I got a lecture printed on cardstock." Dad cleared his throat. "Mara, we've all sacrificed for what?" The words slipped before I could stop them. "So you could pretend everything's perfect, so you could post pictures and call it love." Mom blinked, caught between anger and embarrassment. "You're ruining your sister's moment. It's always her moment," I said. A few students turned to look. Sloane's smile faltered. "Can you not do this here?" "I'm not doing anything," I said. "That's the problem. I've been doing everything quietly." The wind shifted, scattering programs across the grass. Dad reached for my shoulder, but I stepped back. Mom's voice softened, sugar over steel. "You should learn to be happy with less. Mara, gratitude makes life richer." Something in me cracked. Quiet, but final. I slid the card back into the envelope and handed it to her. "Keep it," I said. "You'll get more use out of it." Her lips parted, but no sound came. Sloan looked away. Her smile practiced again for the cameras. The applause picked up for another graduate, but I couldn't hear it anymore. All I could think was how fragile the word family sounded when it depended on silence. By the time we got home, Mom's heels were already echoing through the hallway. She spoke without turning back. "We should host a small dinner this weekend. People expect a celebration when both daughters graduate Harvard." Dad hung his coat. "Maybe something simple. Simple doesn't photograph well." "Tom." Her tone sliced the air. Sloan dropped her purse on the counter. "I can help with invitations. Maybe we can make it a fundraiser, too." Mom lit up. "Exactly. That's the spirit. The Callahans give back. It sets the tone for your career." She said it like she'd rehearsed it for years. I stayed near the doorway, watching the three of them fall into rhythm, the same practiced routine where everything was fine as long as it looked fine. Dad finally noticed me. "You coming in?" "Kiddo, I'm good here." Mom turned, eyes narrowing. "You're still upset about the card." "It's not about the card," I said. She crossed her arms. "Then what is it about? You can't keep sulking every time your sister shines." "I'm not sulking. I'm tired of pretending this family is balanced when it's not." Sloane's voice rose, defensive. "Mara, you always twist things. You could have said thank you instead of making a scene." "I didn't make a scene," I said. I just stopped clapping. Mom's laugh was sharp. "You always find a way to sound like a martyr. Do you have any idea how hard it is to keep this family afloat?" Her words landed heavier than she realized. I looked at Dad. "Do you—" He frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing," I said. Too quickly. "Forget it." Sloane leaned against the counter. "You've been distant for months. Maybe you should take a break before the dinner. Reset your attitude. Or maybe," I said, "I should stop pretending everything we have isn't built on someone else's silence." Mom's eyes flashed. "That's enough. You will not ruin this family's reputation with your moods. Do you understand me?" I met her gaze. Perfectly. The silence after that wasn't peaceful. It was thick, like dust in sunlight. Dad reached for a glass of water, but his hand shook. Sloane started typing something on her phone, already moving on. Mom exhaled slowly, voice cold again. "Dinner's Saturday. Don't be late." I nodded once and went upstairs. The laughter from the kitchen followed me, bright and hollow, like applause for a performance that would never end. Mom kept the old piano in the corner of the living room. She said it reminded her of balance, of how every key had its place. I learned early that in our house, music was another kind of performance. I was 10 when she entered Sloane and me into a small recital downtown. I practiced every night, counting each measure until my fingers ached. Mom watched with folded arms. "Precision is good, Mara," she said, "but no one applauds math." On the day of the recital, the folding chairs squeaked under the audience. The lights were too bright, but I played every note of Moonlight Sonata exactly as written. When I finished, there was polite applause. Mom leaned down from the front row. "Next time, play with heart," she whispered, smiling for the people around her. Then Sloane walked onto the stage in her pale blue dress. She missed 2 notes, stumbled once, then looked up and smiled as if the mistake belonged there. The crowd laughed softly, charmed. Mom clapped the loudest. "That's heart," she said. In the car, afterward, I kept my hands in my lap. Dad told us both we did great, but Mom interrupted. "Mara needs to feel the music more." "Sloane, you were wonderful." Sloane giggled. "I just played how I felt." Mom turned to me. "You could learn from her." That night, I practiced again until the house was quiet. When Dad passed by, he whispered, "Don't worry about your mother." I didn't answer. I pressed one key softly and listened to the note fade. Even at 10, I understood what she wanted wasn't music, it was performance, and I was already playing the wrong tune. When the first property tax notice came, Dad's voice shook while reading it at the table. The rate went up again. "This can't be right." Mom barely looked up from her laptop. "Call the bank tomorrow. They'll fix it. They won't fix interest?" "Lynette, it's overdue." Her tone sharpened. "Then move some money from your account." He hesitated. "There isn't much left." I didn't say anything. I already knew. I was the one who had helped him set up that account months ago. Sloane walked in, carrying shopping bags. "Is everything okay?" Mom smiled instantly. "Perfect, sweetheart. How was the mall?" "Great. I found the shoes for Paris." Mom clapped her hands. "Wonderful." Dad rubbed his forehead. "The taxes, Tom," Mom warned. "Not now." I stood, reached for my laptop. "I'll take care of it." Dad frowned. "You don't have to." "I know," I said, "but it'll be faster if I do." He looked relieved. Mom didn't object. That was how it started. Each month after that, I made the payments. $1,850. Every 4 weeks. I typed the note myself. Callahan household. Mara contribution. It sounded polite, distant enough to hide what it really was. I didn't tell anyone. When Mom talked about sacrifice at family dinners, I let her have the word. It cost less than correcting her. At night, after working at Meatview Labs, I coded until my eyes blurred. The money came from extra projects, small contracts, long hours. When colleagues asked why I never joined weekend trips, I said I liked quiet. In truth, I was building a safety net for a house that wasn't mine. One night, Dad knocked on my door. "Mara, the Wi-Fi's down again." I fixed it in seconds. He smiled weakly. I don't know how you do it all. I almost told him. Instead, I said, someone has to. He left with a thank you that sounded like a sigh. A week later, Mom called me to the kitchen. You transferred something to the city account last month. Yes. She blinked, pretending confusion. Why would you do that? You said the taxes were overdue. Her smile froze. We were handling it. You should have asked first. It was already late, I said. She straightened. Don't overstep. Mara, we appreciate your help, but this family has systems. I noticed, I said. Her eyes narrowed. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. I closed my laptop. It's paid. You don't need to worry. When I turned to leave, she spoke again. Quieter. You're a good daughter. Mara, just remember gratitude. I nodded. Gratitude was easy when no one saw what it cost. That night, the confirmation email blinked on my screen. Payment received. I stared at it until the light blurred, then added it to a new folder labeled Home. Every receipt was proof that silence had a price, and I was still paying it. Mom insisted on hosting a graduation dinner 2 nights later. It's important to show gratitude, she said, arranging the seating chart like a battle plan. I arrived late. The chandelier was too bright, the table too long. Sloane sat at the center, laughing between Mom's friends. Her Paris itinerary spread like a trophy beside the cake. Mom looked up. There you are. Sit next to your sister. I sat down. Dad poured champagne and raised his glass. To both my girls' Harvard grads. Your mother and I couldn't be prouder. Mom corrected softly. To Sloane and Mara. But especially to Sloane, she's off to Paris soon. She's always had such vision. Everyone clinked glasses. No one noticed I hadn't lifted mine. Sloane grinned. Don't worry. Mara, I'll bring you something from Paris, Mom added. You should learn from your sister's drive. I'm not sure Paris teaches drive, I said. The laughter paused. Dad gave me a look that meant stop. Mom's tone sweetened dangerously. What does that mean? Darling, just that some of us work while others travel. The silence was sharp enough to cut. Sloane's smile faltered. You think I don't work hard? I think you don't have to, I said. Mom placed her fork down. We're not doing this here. I leaned back. We never do it anywhere. Her voice hardened. Mara, this family has given you everything. The roof, I asked quietly. The one I've been paying for Dad coughed, eyes darting between us. That's not what she meant. Mom's face went pale. What did you just say? Nothing you didn't already know, I said. Sloane looked confused. What is she talking about? Mom stood. That's enough. Sit down. Mara. I stayed where I was. I stopped the transfer this month. If you haven't noticed yet, you will. Dad slammed his glass down. You can't just stop paying. We're family. I met his eyes. Exactly. That's why I did it for almost 2 years. Mom's voice shook. You don't talk to your father like that. I'm not talking. I'm done explaining. The chandelier flickered. Someone coughed. Mom reached for the same tone she used with donors. Fragile and sweet. You should learn to be happy with less. Mara, gratitude makes life richer. The words landed like the gift card all over again. I pushed back my chair. Then you'll have plenty. No one spoke as I walked out. The sound of my footsteps was louder than any applause I'd ever earned. That night, I packed quietly. I folded my gown, slipped the diploma into its case, and turned off my phone. The house downstairs buzzed faintly voices, clinking glasses, the sound of Mom managing damage. In my room, I opened my laptop. The bank portal blinked, waiting. 1 click to stop the transfer. The cursor hovered, then pressed down. Automatic payment canceled. The relief wasn't victory. It was silence. 2 weeks later, my phone rang while I was at work. Dad's name flashed on the screen. Mara, the bank called. He said, the payment didn't go through. I know. I said. You know his voice cracked. Then fix it. I stopped paying. The line went quiet. Then a sharp breath. You can't just walk away from responsibility. It's not my responsibility, I said. It never was. Don't do this, he warned. We're family. I did help. Dad. For almost 2 years. He hesitated. That's not the point. It's exactly the point. I could hear him pacing. You've changed since that job, since Harvard. You think you're better than us now? I think I finally see things clearly. A door slammed somewhere behind him. Mom's voice cut in. Put me on speaker. Don't, I said. But she was already there. Mara, she began, breathless with anger. You don't understand what this does to us. The house depends on you right now. Then maybe you shouldn't have built it on me. Don't be dramatic, she snapped. You're lucky to have what you do. Don't let success make you arrogant. I'm not arrogant. Mom, I said. I'm tired. Sloane's voice appeared faintly in the background. Mom, stop yelling. Mom ignored her. You're punishing us. No, I said. I'm protecting myself. There was a long pause, then Dad's voice, smaller now. If you do this, you'll regret it. I looked at the screen. The words, transfer, stopped glowing softly. I already regret everything before it. I ended the call, turned off the phone, and stared at the blank monitor until the reflection of my own face disappeared in it. The silence that followed was clean, almost kind. The alert arrived while I was finishing revisions at my desk request to add new backup payer applicant Thomas Callahan. I called the number on the screen. A woman answered after 2 rings. This is Priya Patel with Member Services. I need to confirm an authorization request, I said. She pulled up the file. A joint credit line ending in 74. The request states you approved your father to relink your account as secondary. I didn't approve anything, I said. Her tone shifted from routine to careful. Do you contest the authorization? I deny it, I said. Freeze the account. Log every change. I want the timestamps. Understood, she said. I'll place a temporary hold and file a fraud review. Do you want a case number? Yes. She read it slowly. I wrote it down, each digit steady. Anything else she asked? Yes, I said. Email me the confirmation. I'm keeping records. When I hung up, I opened a new folder on my laptop and named it Evidence. I dragged in the bank email, the case number, the calendar of payments. 22 transfers, $1,850 each, $40,700 total. The screen filled with proof that I had kept a roof over a house where gratitude was a slogan. I drove to Newton without telling anyone. The porch light was on. Dad opened the door, already braced. You didn't answer my texts, he said. I was busy with the bank. I said, they froze the account you tried to link. He blinked. It was a mistake. I thought you'd want a backup set. You thought wrong. I said, you filed it as if I'd consented. Mom stepped into the hallway. Lower your voice. The neighbors I walked past them into the living room. Sloane was there, leaning against the wall like she'd been waiting to watch. Dad followed me. Sit down and be reasonable. I've been reasonable for almost 2 years. I said, tonight we'll try the truth. Mom crossed her arms. You are twisting this. Your father was trying to protect the family. From what I asked. From the consequences of you counting on money that isn't yours. Sloane lifted her chin. You make it sound like theft. Because it is. I said, you tried to access my account without permission. Dad's voice rose. I am your father, and I am not your bank. I said, those are separate roles. Mom moved closer. Her voice dipped in sugar. Mara, you helped because you love us. We all knew that. This is just paperwork catching up. No, I said. This is you pretending consent existed. Sloane laughed once. Brittle. You want applause for paying bills? I want boundaries, I said. Applause is your department. Dad pointed at my laptop bag. What's in their receipts? I said. 22 of them. 1 for every month I carried this house. Sloane's smile slipped. You kept records. I kept evidence. I said, in case the story changed. Mom's eyes flickered. You're threatening us. I'm protecting myself. I said. There's a difference. Dad took a step forward. If the bank forecloses, we lose everything. Then you finally learn what it costs to live on someone else's dime. I said. He flushed. Do not speak to me like that. I tried speaking softly. I said, you heard nothing. Mom reached for my arm. I pulled back. You don't have to make this harder, she said. We're in this together. You wanted me in it when I was paying, I said. You want me quiet now that I've stopped. Sloane's voice wavered. You could have told us. Mara, I did. I said. You called it a mood. The clock ticked once. Loud as a knock. No one moved. Dad's shoulders sagged. So what happens now? Now you use your own names with the bank, I said. And you take mine off everything. Mom swallowed. And if we need help? Ask. I said, don't trespass. I picked up my bag. Dad looked at the floor. Sloane bit her lip and said nothing. At the doorway. Mom tried one last time. You'll regret this. I already regret teaching you I would never say no. I said. I stepped outside and closed the door before the silence could follow me out. The mistake happened on a Tuesday night. I was exhausted, sorting tax files and invoices. Half awake at my desk, I attached the wrong folder evidence instead of statements and hit send. The email went not only to my accountant but to an old thread that still had Aunt Renee's family list copied in. The next morning, my phone lit up. Aunt Renee's voice cracked through the line. Mara, what did you send? What do you mean? It's everywhere, she said. Helen posted it on Facebook before I could stop her. The payments, the receipts. Everyone's talking. I opened my inbox. Hundreds of notifications. Screenshots, reactions, threads under a caption. 22 months of payments labeled Mara contribution. Mom called before I could breathe. What did you do? I sent the wrong file. You ruined us, she said. Do you have any idea what people are saying? I told the truth. I said. Her voice broke. You embarrassed this family. I didn't embarrass anyone. I said. I stopped hiding the math. Dad joined the line. You could have handled this privately. I did. I said. For almost 2 years. You think this is justice? He asked. I think it's balance. I said. Hours later. Sloane texted Mom's crying. Dad's furious. Take it down, I replied. I didn't post it, but I'm not asking anyone to remove it either. By evening, my name was being whispered through every corner of Newton. Church friends, Mom's charity circle, Dad's colleagues all reading the proof that their perfect family had been built on my paycheck. Mom called again, her tone flat now. People are calling, asking if we used you. What am I supposed to say? Say yes, I said. Mara, she pleaded. You don't understand what you've done. I understand exactly. I said. I gave you time. The world gave you truth. Later that night, the bank emailed Dad refinance request denied due to unstable payment history. I saw the forwarded copy by accident. No message. Just the subject line. Declined. The house that had once been their proof of success was now a liability. When Aunt Renee called again, her voice was gentler. I'm sorry, honey. I never meant for it to spread that far. It's fine, I said. It needed air. After she hung up, I stared at the empty inbox. For the first time, the silence didn't feel like absence. It sounded like the truth finally breathing. The fallout came quietly. Within a month, the house was listed for sale. Mom resigned from her charity board. Dad stopped answering calls from the bank. The news spread faster than they could contain it. Sloane called one night. Her voice was thin. Mom barely leaves her room. Dad says we have to move before the winter. I know, I said. You don't sound sorry, she said. I already was. I told her. Just not anymore. She sighed. You humiliated them? Everyone's talking. They can't even go to the club. They humiliated themselves. I said, I just stopped covering the bill. Her tone cracked. You're cruel. No, I said. I finally learned your language. There was a long pause, then softer. You could have warned me. I did. I said. You laughed. Sloane sniffed. I didn't mean to. I thought you were exaggerating. You always do. Mara, she whispered. They're still our parents. I know who they are. She exhaled. You've changed. I had to. I said. You only loved me when I was useful. For a moment. There was only breathing between us. She tried again. They're losing everything. The house. Their name. They lost me first, I said. Sloane went silent. Then she said, Mom still says she loves you. She loves the idea of me. I said, the quiet version that pays on time. She didn't argue. The line clicked, and I knew she wouldn't call again soon. I set the phone down. The room was still. Outside, the city lights flickered, and for the first time, I didn't flinch at the sound of their silence. Weeks passed before I heard her voice again. It came through the phone one morning, thinner than I remembered. Mara, Mom said, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I didn't speak. I know what I did. She continued, I treated you like a wallet, not a daughter. I thought I was teaching you gratitude. I was teaching you how to disappear. The quiet between us was fragile. I heard her sniff. I forgive you, Mom, I said. But forgiveness doesn't mean going back. She exhaled shakily. I know. I just wanted you to hear it from me. 2 weeks later, I saw her again by accident. I was at the grocery store, reaching for a bundle of bok choy when someone said my name. Mara. I turned. She stood near the produce aisle, wrapped in a coat that hung too large on her shoulders. Her hair had silver in it. I didn't expect to see you here, she said. You look different, I said. I feel different. She replied, I don't want excuses. I just wanted to look you in the eye when I said I'm sorry. Her voice trembled. I spent years protecting the image of our family. I should have protected you. You don't need to explain, I said. She shook her head. No, I do. I hurt you and I knew it. I kept pretending it was love. The store speakers began to play Moon River, the same song Sloane and I once performed as kids. The sound seemed to fold time in half. Mom's hands were trembling. Do you hate me? I did, I said. Not anymore. She blinked. Then what? Now I keep moving. I said, you should too. Tears slipped down her cheeks. I don't want you to come back. I just need you to know I see it now. Everything you carried. I nodded. That's enough. She hesitated, then reached out. Her fingers brushed mine cold. Hesitant. I hope you find peace, Mara, she whispered. I hope you do too, I said. She turned and walked toward the checkout. The coat looked heavy on her back. I stayed until she disappeared around the corner. That night, I stood by my apartment window. The city lights blinked over the Charles River, steady and unbothered. On my desk hung 2 frames, the $15 gift card and the certificate for Northline Health Design. I traced the edge of the card with my thumb. It used to sting. Now it felt like proof that I had survived their definition of love. I whispered to the quiet room. Gratitude doesn't mean bowing your head. It means knowing when to lift it. Outside, a light snow began to fall small, almost invisible, like forgiveness that no one asked for but finally arrived anyway.